Hello and welcome. This is going to be a presentation on safe communication practices in aviation. We're going to be looking at how a communication system sends and receives voice and other data on an aircraft. First, let's take a look at what is meant by a communication system in an aircraft. On an aircraft, the communication system is responsible for the transmission and reception of information. This information may be in the form of voice or in the form of data. From the aircraft, this system should be able to manage communication outside the aircraft, which is from aircraft to the ground station or within another aircraft in flight. It should also manage communication within the aircraft, which is via the interphone for communicating with other crew members or to make announcements in the cabin. Next, we're going to be taking a look at how the parts are required for audio communication in an aircraft. The communication system is centrally managed by an audio control unit. This unit is responsible for receiving information from different antennas, microphones, and sensors. It is then responsible for processing this information and transmitting them to specific locations such as headsets or speakers in the cockpit or in the cabin. In the cockpit, the crew can manage the audio control unit with the help of an audio control panel. This will have different switches and knobs to transmit or receive the information. The audio control unit receives information from different sources, such as the intercom that is used for internal communications. Internal communications that is also received audio information from the communication or navigation radio from the ground stations. It may also be linked to some critical systems in an aircraft. Sorry, my apologies on the slide. Critical systems in the aircraft in order to trigger onboard alerts. Okay, onboard alerts. In the case of failures after processing the received data, the voice data is sent to the speakers or headsets of the crew members. This unit will also send all the audio data to the cockpit voice recorder, which continuously records all this information. The audio control unit allows the flight crew to select and control the received audio from the panel. The crew may select very high frequency or high frequency channels for communicating with the ground station. As required, they can select crew intercom for communicating with other crew members on board or select the PA system to address the passengers. The audio control panel also has switches that can be used to turn the system on or off to adjust the volume in the headset or the speakers for transmission for audio over the selected channel. Now we're going to be taking a look at how data communication takes place on the aircraft. So on the aircraft, in the most modern aircraft, ACARS is going to be installed, which stands for Aircraft Communication Addressing Reporting System. This is responsible for receiving and transmitting data from the aircraft. The ACARS provides a digital data link for the aircraft that is used to send specific information to different stations on the ground. The data that is sent is taken from different aircraft sensors or systems and is transmitted via high frequency or very high frequency on the aircraft's position. The ACARS then sends or receives data from air traffic control, which is controlling a particular airspace. It could also send information to the airline's operations control, dispatch, and so on for efficient management of the airline fleet. And also, and for personnel for smooth operations of all aircraft. So we'll see the flight operations talking to your ground service agents, for an example. And so the ACARS sends the data such as aircraft position, aircraft system status, or any failures that have occurred, with like weather related information or diversion information if that's required. In the cockpit, the crew can manage and monitor the data that is sent on the ACARS. And the help of the control and display unit, or the CDU, the CDU is the only unit which provides an interface to the crew for sending information or receiving data. The CDU provides access to information, and it transmits the information automatically or manually if required, and also has a provision for sending text messages to ground control, for communication systems to send or receive voice or data signals. So to send and receive these voice and data signals, we're going to be using all different antennas that are going to be positioned on the aircraft. And these antennas on the aircraft will have very high frequency communications, which is normally used for voice, and that's for VHF COM 1. VHF COM 2, which is kept on standby and is used for monitoring purposes only. The aircraft may have a VHF COM 3, which is used along with HF for data transmission. For ACARS, the aircraft will also have a transponder or air traffic control and a voice recorder to be installed at the tail section. For satellite comms, SATCOM may be installed on some aircraft. So that's all for this presentation, guys. I appreciate you giving your time and watching, and these will be my references for the PowerPoint. So thank you very much.